Hey everyone, what's happening? It's Sean out here in the garage bringing you another how-to video. Today we're working on a 2022 and newer Honda/Greenger CRF-E2. This video should apply to any of the CRF-E2 bikes out there or even the Greenger G2 bikes. Those are the black versions of this bike, but they are exactly the same. And what we are doing today is working on the start switch. Happens to be this guy. We're gonna troubleshoot this and ultimately replace this switch in this video. And I'll show you the problem that you'll often run into. I've had 7 of these E2 bikes before, and a couple of them have given me some issues. And so if you turn the key, this is the normal operation. You can see OP. And when you go to hit the switch, what you should see, you should hear the double beep there, and it should go to 0, 0. Now, if that does not go to 0, 0 from 0 miles per hour, as you can see, you've got a problem, and it's likely that start switch. So let's say you go and you press that switch down, and it won't go to 0, 0. It'll just stay here at OP. You won't hear the audible tone. Very likely you've got an issue here at this switch. So I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot your switch to confirm that that's truly the problem. And then I'll also show you how to replace it as well. And this is designed to be an easy how-to video. I originally designed it with a multimeter, but in fact, that might be a little tricky. Maybe you don't have a multimeter. So instead, I'm going to show you with just using either a simple jumper wire like this or a paper clip, we can troubleshoot and see if our switch is truly what's bad. You're also going to need a 5mm Allen key, a small Phillips screwdriver, and you can use a little wire cutter like this to cut some zip ties. Now to replace the switch, I've got a few things here that I'll show you. This is a switch from a Greenger G3, that's those gray bikes there. Looks very similar, just a little bit different. You can see the rubber piece is all yellow, whereas the E2, it's black. The plug is different, okay? So this switch actually wouldn't work for this bike without having to do some wiring. I created my own switch. I found this switch button off of Amazon and used the factory CRF-E2 wiring and plug. This is the plug we want. It looks like a 3-pin plug, but it's actually only got 2 wires going to it in the back there. Anyway, this is the plug or the switch that I'm gonna replace for the use of this video today. But I just wanted to show you a couple different switch options, and then some dielectric grease is gonna be nice just to make sure we keep the connections nice and tight and do our best to fight corrosion. And then a couple zip ties are all you need to replace it. So the first thing we're gonna do on the bike is remove this switch. To do that, let's use our Phillips and we will undo that connector. Keep your hardware. Depending on the switch you get, you may still need this clamp and the screw, but take that little screw, that small little bolt out. That will loosen up this here. And then we can follow that wire down. You can see right there, it's behind that brake line. Follow that wire down. You'll snip that little zip tie there and keep following it down. You can see it goes into this harness right here. We're actually going to snip, there'll be a zip tie at the top, maybe one at the bottom down there as well. We're gonna snip those, and then you can actually uncoil this little protective sheath and keep that handy. We don't wanna get rid of this. We do wanna keep this, and we're gonna put it back when we're finished. But let's uncoil that, and we can follow that wire down, and you can see it goes back behind that plastic housing or kind of splash guard that the battery and all the electrical components are protected by. And to remove the side that we need, we're gonna use our Phillips and remove that screw. There's one there and then one down there. And then we're gonna use our 5mm hex key. We're gonna remove that bolt. There's one there, and then there's another kind of hidden behind this fender. Now, if you're having a hard time getting to that one, it can be a little tricky. You could benefit from removing that bolt as well. That'll give you a little more flex on the fender. to access the bolt right there. And then this whole black piece will come off, and now we can start troubleshooting. Once you've removed that panel, you can set all your pieces and hardware aside. And now we can access the wiring. You'll come back up here, you'll follow that wire we're looking for down. That's this guy right here. And you may have some additional zip ties to snip, but continue following that wire all the way down. It's this one, and you'll see what looks like a 3-pin connector. It's actually only got 2, as you can see. One of them is a dud or empty, but you'll press down on this tab and simply pull away with this press down. It's hard for me to do with one hand, but you'll press down on that, pull away, and you can free up this start switch connector, and then we can start testing that wire. Here's a good look at that plug. That's how you know you've got the right one. Like I said, it looks like it's a 3-pin, but only 2 are used. And you can see there's the other side to the factory wiring harness. Now, one easy way that we can test if it's simply either our wire or the switch itself that's the problem, we can jumper this, and all we're really doing is completing a circuit. These switches are very simple. All they are is completing a circuit. When you press down on the button, some metal plates touch the wires, and then the leads connect the circuit, and the bike will respond. So what I'm gonna do is turn the key to the on position, and then I'm gonna go down here and use my paper clip or my jumper wire, and I'm gonna touch those 2 leads. And if I hear an audible beep, and if I see that this turns to 0, 0, that means that we are in a good place, that we've connected that circuit, and now things would be operating. If you twist the throttle, the bike would go. So that tells us that it is in fact either the wiring, maybe it's the plug, or it's actually the switch, the button switch itself, that is our problem. We'll see if I can do it with one hand and show you an example of this. You could hear that. Try it again. Just like that, and it shows 0, 0. That means in our case, the bike's harness is fine, and that it is in fact something to do with either this plug, the wires in this harness, or the start switch itself. One quick point I want to make is that we cannot bypass this plug by just having it permanently connected. So some of you might be wondering, well, hey Sean, can we use a paper clip or a wire or something, jam it in there and just permanently bypass the switch? Short answer is no. On one point, it wouldn't be very safe, even if you could, right? Because it's nice to have something to control the start-stop with the handlebar. But more importantly, this isn't feasible because this is meant to be just a couple seconds of a connection for the bike to beep and the controller to realize that it can now send power to the wheels. And then after that, it's meant to have a disconnect and then be reconnected to go again. So long story short, we can't just simply bypass this. We're going to need to get a new switch. I'd recommend buying a new switch from Greenger directly. They're not that expensive and are fairly easy to replace. You can also perhaps try to use some of the wiring or even the factory plug and rewire your own simple start-stop switch to the bike, which is what I'm gonna do here today. But to do that, you have to know that your plug and your wiring is good, and you'll have to get handy with a multimeter to really be able to figure that out. I'm not gonna show you all those details today. In my opinion, if you know your switch or the harness is bad here, you might as well simply replace it. Okay, so if you're like me and you know you have a faulty switch or faulty wiring here, let's get rid of that harness. So I'm first gonna fish it through. You can see how it comes under the frame and out the side like this. So we'll work it through there, just like that. And then we'll go to the other side of the bike And we will fish it through underneath here, around the fork. And you can see we'll pull that switch out the top. And then, once you've done that, then you'll go and you'll grab your new switch. Here's the one that I created right there. And we'll do the same thing. We're gonna fish it through the top, and this is an important step. You don't want to start at the bottom and then find out that you wish you had started at the top. So we're gonna basically invert the process here. We're gonna slide this. You can see I'm having a little difficulty with one hand, but slide that through around the fork. And then we're gonna put it, kind of group it with all that other wiring. So now that I've got it down here, I will get it inside that black cover and get the switch through the frame. See, just like that. See how I have that now in that center little rectangular section, and we'll get that plugged in. Before we plug it in, let's use a little bit of our dielectric grease, and just to help protect those leads from any corrosion, help keep it watertight, and we'll get that plugged in, and then we will start the assembly process to get the bike put back together. You can see I did use a couple, maybe 2-3 zip ties there, just to help keep the wiring out of the way when we go to assemble the left-hand side plastic piece. Before we reassemble everything, let's also make sure the new switch works once we have it plugged in. So there you see it, I press the switch, and we have 0, 0. Great, we are ready to rock. Let's try it one more time, just to make sure it's working. Once it's timed out, we'll press it again. There it is, we're good to go. Now we can get everything put back together. To reassemble everything, we're gonna have our bolts here, here, there, and right inside. And then I did take this one off, so I had to reassemble that. Then I've got my 3 screws, there, there, and then one down there. Next we'll come to this side of the bike, and we will loop around our coil. This is just a protective covering, but we wanna make sure we've got all of our wires protected as we turn the steering stem. Just helps those wires from rubbing against the metal and potentially wearing them down. And last but not least, we'll want to reattach our new switch to the handlebars wherever you feel is comfortable. Ideally right here by the thumb of your handlebar, but it could be down here in the center. Wherever you have room. These E2s don't give you a lot of handlebar room, so you may have to get creative depending what kind of switch you have, but this is where the OEM one goes. And just like that, we're ready to rip again. If this video helped you out, please like and subscribe for more how-to videos. Thanks for watching, and God bless.